What is going on, my fellow nerds? Over the last few weeks, I've reviewed several sets of wireless earbuds like these from companies like Soundpeats or Palm, so forth and so on. And a lot of these cheaper ones, like the Soundpeats ones, are missing a particular feature that I really do love to have, and that is active noise cancellation. Well, today I'm going to be talking about another set of earbuds, this time from a company called UGREEN, which I have to admit I had not heard of before, but for $69.99, these things claim to actually have active noise canceling. Now, we're not talking about the stuff we've seen from some of these other companies that have a description in there that say noise canceling, but turns out it's just noise canceling mics for phone calls. No, this is supposed to be actual active noise cancellation, and UGREEN was kind enough to send these guys over for me to unbox and review. So that's what we're going to do here right now. So we've got our box here, UGREEN X6 HiTune. First off, I like the way that these look. They look like some of the newer versions of Soundcore earbuds. Obviously, my Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros are still some of my favorite earbuds around, but they've got that AirPod clone look to them, which is fine. I mean, that's what my Palm Buds look like. That's what basically all of these earbuds, they all just look like they're trying to be AirPods and so forth and so on. But these guys look a little bit different, as you can see, so it's going to be interesting to see how I feel about that. But like I said, these are supposed to have actual noise cancellation, so you're gonna be able to block out the noise from around you. That's something that, you know, it's a big reason why my Palm Buds Pro and my Liberty Air 2 Pros are the earbuds that I tend to go with over something like the Soundpeats. Despite the fact that the Soundpeats do sound quite good, I need that noise cancellation. Now, it's important to note we don't have pass-through, right? So just cancellation. So let's open this thing up and we'll see what we have here. I'll tell you one thing right now, this thing is very difficult to open. There's a little flap here, I guess you're meant to pull on to pull this thing out, but I am pulling very, very hard and I cannot seem to get this thing open. So bear with me as I try to open this box. So I was able to kind of pinch the back here. It's just a very tight fit, but you can't really squeeze on the box to pull it out because it grips on and holds on. So there's just a little pro tip for how you open this box. All right, and up front here, you have some information that I cannot read, and there is your actual earbud case itself. Let's take this out and set it aside. We've got some instructions in here, and then of course we should have a USB-C cable here because that is how it does charge. Yep, another USB-C cable to have around the house. And we'll pull these instructions out because I'm sure that I will need them to learn the controls. You do have different size ear tips in there. It looks like the mediums are probably what is pre-installed. Let's set this aside and let's talk about the aesthetics. What do you guys think of the look of this case? I actually really like it. It's a little bit on the larger side, but I like this two-tone look. I like that it's flat on the top and on the bottom. I think these look pretty good. And if we open it up here, that's pretty easy to get out. That's a complaint I have with some of the Soundpeats, is actually removing them and putting them back in. That's actually very easy. The magnets are strong enough, though, that it's not going to go anywhere. Nice, satisfying snap shut. I think the aesthetics of this are actually quite good. You've got a good look here at the buds themselves. Large capacitive touch region. Overall, I gotta tell you, I don't hate the look of this thing. We also do have an LED here, which I reckon is going to tell you when it's charging the earbuds or charging via USB-C. And then we have a pairing button back here as well. So let's pop these things in and let's see how they actually look and feel in my ears. We're gonna pop them both in. Okay, so one of the first things that you're going to notice when you put them in is that it's going to say power on, and then if it's paired to your phone, it's going to say connected, and that's fine. That's a good thing that it does. But what's weird here is that the voice that it says it in is kind of weird sounding. So like you're hearing it in both ears, but they're slightly off from one another. So they just kind of sound a little creepy and a little bit weird, but that's not too big of a deal, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. The instructions here were a little bit hard to understand, but I think I've got it under control. Basically, one tap on either earbud is going to play pause. A double tap is going to change your volume, and a triple tap is going to seek backwards or forwards. You then have the ability here to 1 second press to turn on ANC. So let's stop here and let's actually test this ANC a little bit. So let's jump over here to, first off, let's just do some white noise. I'm going to have this turn to a volume where I don't think it's going to be picked up by my microphone. So you may not be able to hear this. You may hear it when I'm talking because I have a noise gate on. So with ANC off, I can hear that. Let's press for 1 second. I get a tone. Kind of creepy voice says ANC on. And that is relatively dampened. I can still hear it, but it's definitely better. Let's grab a set of earbuds now that are much more expensive. These are like twice the price, and let's see what kind of work they do to block out this white noise. Okay, so with nothing turned on, it is quite audible. Let's go to noise cancellation now. That's actually really, really similar. Wow, that's not too far off at all. Let's take these back out. And now let's switch to something like some license-free music here. We'll go to the tried and true Crab Rave. Let's pop the UGREENs back in. And let's turn on ANC. It's definitely lowering the volume pretty considerably. Let's go back to the sound cores, the high-priced thing. Let's turn ANC on. They're really not far off. I kind of can't believe how good the ANC is actually working there. With white noise or with music, it is really reducing how well I can hear that stuff in the background. And I actually have tested this with talking with my wife, and it does a really good job of blocking that stuff out. Now, my biggest thing with these is the fact that passive mode is not there. And whether I'm using my Palm Buds Pro or these Anchors, I do like to have a passive mode that actually will let me hear audio from the outside so that I don't have to take my earbuds out to talk to somebody. I can still just hear them. So that's something to consider. But ANC, for $69.99, the ANC is pretty legitimate. Like, it's pretty impressive. I guess now what we need to do is we need to actually try some actual music and see what these things sound like for that. So let's pop them back in here. Let's open up YouTube Music. We're going to use the same song I always use, which is Run Around by Blues Traveler. And let's see what these guys sound like. So immediately, I feel like the bass is quite punchy. It's not totally crushing the highs and the mids, though. They're still definitely there. These sound pretty good, guys. These actually sound really, really solid. Let's go ahead and go back here. Let's disconnect from the HiTunes. Let's go back to the Anchors. These are, or I'm sorry, to the sound cores rather. These are the best sounding earbuds that I have. And let's go ahead and connect back to these now and play again back at the beginning. I mean, I've got to get really nitpicky here to find much of a difference, and that is absolutely shocking to me. I would say that the sound cores are slightly more crisp and clear, but these HiTunes are holding their own at a level that I would have never expected them to be able to do. I kind of want to try these compared to my Palm Buds as well, because I felt like the Palm Buds were pretty good. And I really like the Palm Buds for a lot of different reasons, but I swear I almost feel like these $70 HiTunes might sound better. This really doesn't make any sense at all, but they sound better than the Palm Buds Pro. They are crisper and punchier and clearer than the Palm Buds Pro for about half the price. I really like these because of the weight and the passive mode. I wish these had a passive mode, but these sound better than the Palm Buds Pro. Let's get a weight check here as well, because that's actually something that is really important to me. We're talking about the size. They're quite a bit bigger. So that is a factor for me. Maybe it's a factor for you. Let's weigh them. All right, so Palm Buds Pro, case 37 grams, case 48 grams. Okay, so that is a pretty big difference. What about actually having them in your ear? How about 3 grams compared to 3 grams? So actually having them in your ear, you're not really going to notice any difference. With the pocket test, you are going to be able to tell. So the Palm Buds Pro, you can see they're almost unnoticeable in the pocket. They're quite easy to keep in the pocket. The HiTunes there, I mean, it's not terrible, but they're definitely noticeable being in there. And then the sound cores, I think, are probably actually the most noticeable in your pocket because that case is absolutely gigantic. Let's look at some of the specifications here and see what we're supposed to be getting. So they're quoting 6 hours on a single play per bud, which is pretty impressive, and then 26 hours in total. Now, I've not had a chance to fully test the longevity of these things, but generally speaking, that's probably pretty accurate, and that's probably a pretty decent battery life. Personally, for me, anything that's over like 4 hours is totally fine because I'm never going to have earbuds in my ears for 4 hours without the ability to pop them in. And as it says, 10 minutes equals 1 hour of play. These things have small batteries, so they charge up relatively quickly. Of course, it is USB-C, so it's going to be really easy to charge. Now, these are also supposed to be able to trigger the voice assistant and an equalizer shift between music and gaming. So I guess we do need to try that out now as well. Let's pop these back in. There's that creepy Bluetooth connected voice that I really wish was not what it sounded like. That is strange to me. But let's go back over to my instructions here. We'll see if we make sure we're looking at this correctly. Looks to me like 2 seconds left or right earbud for Google Assistant. So let's try that. 1, 2. Okay, that just changed ANC. That turned ANC on, which is 1 second. Okay, I held till there were 2 tones. And it did, in fact, trigger Google Assistant, which is now listening to me. So you have to wait until you hear the second tone hitting. So for the next one, it looks like it is a quadruple tap on left or right to change to game mode. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gaming mode is now on. So let's check out gaming mode here. This is a normal mode, and I'm playing a Pokemon on an emulator. Let's try opening up my inventory here. And you can hear from the Bluetooth. This is not going to be something you're going to be able to hear. But whenever I do this, the sound effect is quite far behind. So if I hit here, now I'm hearing the sound. Hit again, there's the sound. So let's turn on gaming mode and see if it's any better. Gaming mode is now on. Let's try it again. Okay, so it is definitely a low latency mode, and that definitely is taking effect. The gap between the action and then hearing the sound effect was about halved. So it's actually much more in line with what I should have been hearing. So if you're interested in doing some gaming with these, that mode is definitely going to be where you're going to want to be. Guys, overall, I think these things are shockingly impressive. For $69.99, this is a brand I was not familiar with. These are impressively good sounding, and then you throw in ANC, and this is a really, really solid purchase. Guys, I'm going to put a link down below that like button if you want to check these things out. It might make a good holiday gift if you still are looking for something like that. There may be a promo code or something like that down there as well to get you guys a little bit of money off if this is something that you wanted to check out. I'm really impressed. For $69.99, I could actually make these things my daily driven Bluetooth earbuds. Really impressive. Guys, stay tuned for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.